For our next panel discussion, we'll have our very own international PTR leaders discuss their experiences implementing Dennis's vision and business model in their own countries. Our first panelist is Shinichi Suzuki, PTR International Master Professional. He has served as a director of Add-In Sakura Tennis School since 1997. He has been a PTR member for 50 years and an official provider for PTR Japan. He believes in building friendships through tennis. Returning for another panel, we also have Luciano Botti. Moderating this panel, we have returning Kalinda Dinoffer. And her co-moderator is Aaron Hutt. Aaron is the lead coach of I'm On Fitness and Tennis for over 30 years. He has a bachelor's from Towson State University in psychology and kinesiology. He leads his company with core values of physical preparation, skill set success, and mental mobility. Everyone, Aaron. Right, please, everyone, please give a round of applause to our moderators and the panelists. Thank you.
Power's on. Good, good. Whew. I made it out here, finally. Biggest fear was after hearing all the credentials of everybody here, he was just going to say, and Aaron Hutt, and that would be it. So I think sometimes we forget how much we've actually done, especially surrounded by these esteemed teachers, professors, and coaches. I want to also give a thanks to Kyle Hua for letting me go in his closet and take some of his clothes. As you can see, the length of it is probably closer to his, but the look is the same, so we'll take that. So our discussion today to go further into what other people have talked about. Most have talked about their interactions with Dennis and how that impacted, but we wanted to go a little further into the actual teaching, what happened when we're taking something that is in English and you have to maybe translate it to another language, where there's different cultural beliefs, values, etc. How did these guys here, how were they able to go ahead and make the changes with federations who may not like it as well? So we did have a little bit of a twist because there were only two, we were supposed to have four, is we thought it would be interesting that as we go along, you all, if you had any questions that come up, please you can give me I'm an old baseball player too. If you can tug on your ear, I'll know it. You don't have to give me an indicator, just your ear is fine, and we'll come out and let you ask the question, and then we'll kind of keep it going. So how's that work for everyone? Seems to work? Also, the fact that even at this age, I forget the question by the end. So I figure some of you may have that same problem, and maybe this will give you a chance to remember your question and get it out there. And I feel like I want to start, and then Kalinda, she's been busy here today. I'm going to start first. I know Luciano's told us about his first interaction with Dennis, but we haven't had, I was told to call him Suzuki Sensei. I would like to allow him to just talk about his first interaction with Dennis.
Can you hear me? Okay. How about this? How about this? How about this time? Better? Okay. Yeah, I'm not a good speaker. Yeah. But I met Dennis 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago, when I just started my career as tennis coach in a city in Chiba Prefecture, which is located in the northeast of Tokyo. And I just picked up tennis, and when I got in university, which was 1968. Then after graduated college, and I started the tennis coach career. And after 2 years, I've been teaching through just my sheer experience, just how to hit the ball like that. And one day, the boss of the club came to me and asked me a question, which he said that my wife received a call from my wife received a call from the one of the WTA player saying about this guy is going to come to Japan and host a tennis university or tennis teacher training course for Japanese coaches. And he asked me if I'm interested in taking the course. And I said yes, because I didn't have any knowledge about how to manage group or how to teach tennis in an efficient way or something like that. So I attended, and his wife was a WTA player, excellent WTA player, and she won women's doubles in Wimbledon 1975 with a partner of Anki Omura. And the caller was Billie Jean King. Yeah. So I attended the course, and so the first university was kind of a day camp for 1 week. So I drove from the club to the training site, which is about 2 hours plus away. So every day, I started like at 5 o'clock, went there 8 o'clock, finished the course at 5 or 6, and came back home like at 8 o'clock, had dinner, slept, woke up at 5, and so I did that for 1 week. And after a week, I got a very confidence in how to teach people in a more efficient way and a more understandable, easy to understand way. So that was my takeaway. And also I attended the second tennis university next year. Then that was a live-in camp. The sponsor was the Bridgestone Tire Company. They didn't have tennis department yet, but they hosted. They've been hosting a TV program, which is Bridgestone Doubles. So all the students and the coaches stayed in the same facility of the Bridgestone company, and they travel back and forth in a bus, and I drove my minivan with me, and I drove just by myself. And on the second day, Dennis came to me, if I don't mind driving together to and from the kind of hotel, because at that time smoking in the bus is allowed. So most of the coaches smoke, and Dennis and Dewey, or so those coaches, they hate smoking. So I didn't smoke. I used to smoke, but I quit smoking after I spent 1 year as a tennis coach. Yeah. Then so we started. So then I was driving Dennis in the passenger seat. That's kind of so yeah, nervous but fun experience. That he asked me many questions, and I started respond to, and that's how I started. And then from the third year, he asked me to join one of the teaching team and help as an assistant interpreter. And spending 2 years, so after I finished the fourth university, he asked me to become the main chief interpreter for tennis university. Yeah, which was very challenging, but since I spent 2 tennis universities before that, and I studied a lot, and I tried to understand many things, and I tried to listen to then how he spoke, how he explained things, how he demonstrates. So I tried to copy almost everything. Yeah. So that's how I started the relationship with Dennis. And he kept coming to Japan 20 years without missing. But yes. And but I had to miss a few years on the road because of the business and at the club. But so every year, so after tennis university, even though I I didn't attend the university, I tried to sold them off at the airport every year. So this relationship was the beginning of everything. And so after 20 years, there was a lapse for 2 years because of something, some relationship with the organizer and Dennis. And after that, so since 2000, we invite tennis PTR staff members to do the course for Japanese coaches. Yeah, it's not a tennis university; it's a PTR workshop in Japan. And the first clinician was Dr. Cap, and the next one is Jeff Norton, and the third person was Miles Williams. Yeah, and after Miles, I was asked to do the clinics workshops on my own. I mean, I conducted clinics. So since then, I been serving as a clinician in Japan. Yeah, and in a few years, the main thing I've been inspired and trying to convey the information to the coach in Japan, the concept of standard method, which is the basic training, and which is very easy to understand, easy to teach. So I've been started teaching the standard method, but in a few years, as PTRs, it's starting to develop the other programs, like a junior development program. And then it was started just by the 10 and under, and then in 2 years, started like at 11, 17 performance. And so I had to learn a lot because I've never had experience of player coaching. Just I've been teaching with the recreational players. But I taught some junior players from the 10-year-old to 16, 17. But I didn't have much information. I had experience about training those young kids and elder kids. So this is just from my experience. So I didn't have much knowledge about how to deal with those kids and players. But I tried. I kept my work as a coach for So anyway, so then as 2010. So I was asked by Dan Santorum and Julie to become a provider to PTR Japan. And as I started the relationship as a provider, and we started 2010. And also I had to take a look. Yeah. And so I just conducting workshops few times a year, like 4 or 5 times a year. And so while I was serving as a clinician, I had many opportunity to work with named coaches and scientists, like just finished Dr. Lair or Dr. Jack. So I had to study many things to do as a work with them as interpreter. I didn't know much about the physiology or training method or those kind of things. But I do help many teacher training courses, like 6, 7 years, and introducing the many knowledge about those coaches wanted to convey. So the difficulty is the Japanese language is very unique, not only by the character, but also the different the word order. So Japanese, yeah, in other languages like SVO, but Japanese like SOP, and the negation comes at the end of the sentence. So when I translate in English to Japanese, it's easier because negation comes to the second. So I'm ready to say this is not da 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 da. But in the reverse, when I try to explain things about into other language, I have to somebody talks in Japanese, and I have to translate it to Dennis or other foreign coaches. So I have to wait until they finish. So that's a difficulty. Yeah, yeah. So those expressions. Yeah, but because I wanted to make a understandable way to translation, so I asked those coaches to send the materials at least 1 month ahead, so that I can study about the terminology and everything, so that people won't get confused. But I've been getting confused about preparing for that. Yeah. So anyway, so leave it too long. But
Thank you so much. Yeah. If you want to pass it to Luciano, and I love the nuances. I'm a language nerd, so I love hearing nuances of like to wait until the end, and yeah, it's a lot of attention to detail. Thanks for your Luciano. I wanted to turn to you and am just wondering, when you first met Dennis, and you shared this earlier, we got to hear. But I'm wondering if you could share a little bit more about like what aspects of his approach kind of resonated with you immediately, even across any cultural or language differences. Like what was there that was like, oh yeah, this feels right over.
Yeah, coming here and meeting Dennis, of course, I think every one of us know exactly the feeling you have, to meet this man, and so friendly. You come here as a no one, and for Dennis, you are the same as the best one or the other one. One is one. You are a person. So that's something that really, for me, was really impressive. So particularly in my country, in Italy, but maybe also in other countries, in tennis particularly, if you are not a great player, if you're not, in the club, the one guy who, everyone look after, and you come as a regular or a normal player, that's you have no chance. They make you already in another level. So that's something that doesn't happen here, and that was for me very impressive. So, and that's something that I think every one of us has experienced becoming here. My first time when I came here in '80. I landed, I had no idea where I come. So my first trip in the States was in '79, a year before, and I went with friends in holiday in California. I was watching the Davis Cup final or semi-final, Italy against US in San Francisco. And then we did a nice ride and stop in Las Vegas for 2-3 days. So that was my America first touch. So that is another America. So when I arrived here at night, it was dark. You remember how it was here 40 years ago. The bridge was just something with wood going through, no lights, and you come and there's nowhere. So you don't see anything. So where I'm coming? And then I arrive here at 6:30 in the afternoon, in the evening. The club was already closed. And there was one guy just coming down from upstairs over there, and was Bob Winstead, And he accepted me right away. He say hi, and so friendly. So and I have a book at the sea cabins, and I did not know there where I have to go. So he helped me already, and so it was a very great coming. Then the next day with the sun, and so I was really happy that I came on the island, So and that was my start for 45 years in a row. So that's the one part.
Thank you. You actually started to talk about implementation in Italy. I'm assuming that, as with anywhere, people become territorial. They want to put their feet in the ground and say, hey, we're not moving. How did, whether it be Dennis's relationship with you, Dennis's relationship or name across the world, how did it help you to break down some of those walls and barriers that federations and corporations can put up?
Yeah, that was because of Dennis, because as you know, Dennis, his vision was really to build a worldwide, organization for coaches, and also to to share some common values, and particularly to bring this family spirit, so that is friendship. So, and that was really impressive when he came outside the country for the conference, for the courses in Germany, everywhere, because the climate was the one that you expressed, and I told you, so very close, and so particularly in certain country more than in other. But then he was breaking this right away, So, and that was his big point. And after that, he was able, of course, to reach the peoples and to make everyone enthusiastic to join the USPTR, the PTR, And then the follow-up was that PTR had a staff here that was as good as, Dennis wanted. So Julie, Dan, and all the other staff. So they were able to serve the member also outside the country in the best way. So that was another point. And then the services, because at that time, the federation were not much involved in coaching education, mostly. And they didn't have conferences or symposium. They were some tennis coaches association, but they were not. So remember the Tennis Pro, the first issue is, so for members to get this, by mail, because there was the only way to come, it was just 10 pages, so there was already something, that you appreciate, today we can laugh about that. So, and so this service part was also for international, and the other one is because Dennis, of course. And this is, like I said this morning, it was the part one. After Dennis didn't travel and all we know, started the part two. So the part two was to try with many clinicians, and so to bring the same, result by conducting the certification course and so on. But it was not so easy. And then at the same time, change also the situation in the federations. The federations started to be involved, very active. They copy the magazine, they copy many things of Dennis, how to do it, how to make a conference, how to make hours dinner, and all this stuff that, came for sure from Dennis and from us. So then it was, again, difficult to attract the new coaches, new members, because we come for a clinic or for a course, but that's all. So we had not the spirit of Dennis, or we tried, but the climate, the situation was different. So the federation now are very active. You see in Italy, if you follow up a little bit, Italy is so strong now, the federation, and had a great result. And that's happened because was a change in the coaches' education in 2011 because the earlier director, unfortunately died in a young age. And the new one is a guy that is honor member of PTR, Michelangelo Dell'Edera. He came here, I think, at least 2-3 times. And he started because he joined one of our first symposium in Italy, in Torino, because with Dennis then every year, like it's happened in Japan and in other countries too. So that was the other point. The other point was that coming Dennis year after year after year, it was really, a mouth publicity. Yes, when you come next year, you have to join. And so that was a great success for everything. And in Italy, there was no symposium and so on. And we started this symposium by inviting then, of course, Jim Lehrer and many others expertise from our group. And this guy was joining as a new coach and was also very impressed. And when he started the coaches education, he reformed everything. So, and then he had a system and well organized, but he based with many ideas and many things that he learned also from Dennis. And that's help us to come to a partnership. And this was what is today. And today, we helped him to organize the first international symposium in Rome about 10 years ago. So in 11, he was on board, and we started on 12, every 2 years. And we bring the Italian Open days by the 2 qualifying days and the first round. We bring about 3,000 and more coaches attending. And of course, all the big names of coaches and so came in. Dennis, unfortunately not, because was not more able, but Nick Bollettieri and many others. So we also have a Pope audience for the participants. So, and then we were very helping to start this, and now we also cooperate. So that's make for us, for instance, in Italy, to be able to follow up Dennis' legacy and to build and then to keep the high number of members that we have in Italy. And the other point that is facing PTR today internationally is that is a problem for the renewals. So then if you go for a clinic, for a course, maybe you have the participants, they get the certificate, they are member in PTR, but then, why they have to renew the next year, this, we lost, this force that Dennis was giving us, no? And to the other side also, we lost a little bit the service part. So then in certain countries, like in Italy or in Japan, the provider are doing a lot. And so that is maybe balancing the situation. But if you remember, Dennis every year was writing a book and was sending the book as a part of the membership around the world. You remember all the book, number 1, 2, 6, 7, the drills book, and then after the books, he started with the video. So every year we get a VHS video. So, and that was something that also international, they appreciate very much. And of course, it was cost related, but Dennis was saying, no, that's not the point, we want to do this because we want to serve the member. Today is another world, is all different, so it's tougher. But we have some points on reality, like Japan, like Italy, now UK with Emma, where we try. Now we want to see how the new PTR board and the new PTR, so I mean the new era, will be able to gap this with an upgrade. That can help us too.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luciano. And back to you, Suzuki-sensei. I'm wondering what first gave you the confidence that Dennis, really understood Japanese culture and the Japanese way of learning and leadership that, might be very different from where Dennis came from?
Oh, you mean the how I introduce Dennis?
Or like before you introduced him, what gave you the trust that Dennis was going to respect you and Japanese culture, and that he understood those differences and respected?
Yeah, I try to. So he only came to Japan once a year, and in the beginning, of course, there was no internet, so and then we have difficult to communicate between the courses. So I try to communicate with Dennis and other staff while they're in Japan, and so the confidence I got a confidence through the helping the courses, and try. So I not only to the interpreter as a working interpreter, I also just Luciano said, there was a tennis pro magazine, and there was somebody who on the island to translate the articles for Japanese members. But since this person was not so familiar with tennis, the translation into Japanese was kind of doesn't make sense, almost didn't make sense at all, oftentimes. So I asked Julie if I could help with the translation of all the articles, so that I can convey those, I can pass those important information to the Japanese members. So those and I had a good relationship with Peggy Edwards with about those work. So the members liked my support for them. Then so I yeah, so those kind of relationship, and because of the technology development, so it was much more easier to communicate each other with Dennis or the other PTR staff members or other coaches. So as I mentioned, that the cultural difference is, but it is not a problem, because tennis as a standard method, show and tell, less talk, a lot of action. That was the key. So I kept trying to do that kind of thing. So because the cultural difficulty is not so big a problem, to show the members of the PTR in Japan.
This is going to drive Kalinda crazy, because something you both have said, or a recurring theme that keeps coming up to me, is access. Having access to Dennis, having access to staff, etc. And one of my first experiences was Alain, who brought me here first, taking me right to Dennis and going, "This is the man. Meet the man." And I introduced myself with a firm handshake. I'd read that I need to do that. And then later on in the day, he came by me and said, "Aaron, how are you?" How would you know my name out of all these people? That was very important. That sparked, I guess for many of us, that passion, the relationship, the kindred spirit to keep coming back. As I see it, Dennis was there and then passed it on to the 8 and then to the persons under them. This is the question. What are you two doing, or any of the international, what are you specifically doing to make sure that people, coaches in your countries, can have that same access to you?
Yes.
Not an easy question, sorry.
Yeah. Okay, you can start.
Yes. Dennis was a teacher. So, and who become next to him as a staff was also, for sure, was absorbing, and was trying, to, at the beginning, to repeat as best as possible his way to do. But then, you feel that there's something that grow inside you to to do it also in your own, not artificially, as a copy. It's something that he give us the push with example. So and coaching, by example, what Dennis was doing, but also what we try to do with our members in Italy, coaches, is in particularly not only the services, to providing, new course or any information, mailing every month and so on, but the person, because that was Dennis was one of his big points, the personal attention. And I remember when just Dr. Louis Kapp started to organize the computing in the Vandermeer and PTR, because he was the expertise, they were able to put a database with all the customer of the Vandermeer. And they prepare a survive when they finish the course, And one time they mail it, and they make, I was involved to make envelopes with Helma at their house, 5,000-6,000 envelopes, and they gave some prizes if somebody, was bringing back the feeling they survive. And the result was some question. And are you coming because Dennis Vandermeer, or because this, over the quality and so on? And what the best, the most response was because the personal attention we become there. So that was something that remained in my mind, And Dennis was really a master on that. And so we try in our best to do. And that is like, if you smile in a mirror, you get a smile back. And that is important.
Yeah, same question. Yeah. The important message, so Dennis has been telling not only me, but to Japanese coaches, about continuity. To keep continuity, to try to learn new things, try to introduce new information. As Luciano mentioned, that in the first 10 years or so, so those books like on team coaching or psychology or science of tennis, those are backward trained, like those kind of information, also helpful. And by continuing, so not only just teaching, but how to communicate with people. So being positive is very important. So respond to many things in a positive way is very important. And so if in the beginning, one of the examination for the tennis, the PTR was error detection. But error detection sounds very negative. So lately, we use those words like a stroke analysis, how to make it better, not the correct. So, but those are so training those eyes is very necessary. So in Japan we always do this the same way as we've been doing the teaching the basics. So it's teaching basics every time looks like not progressing, but the same is not the lame. Yeah, and so it's a foundation. So I want those coaches to adapt the information, to learn the information properly, and try to add something to the system. So yeah. So I lost my. That's something. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but so as Luciano said, that also almost all the situation is quite similar. But in Japan, I have to do almost everything. I have to do. But in Italy, so he has many members with a very specific specialty in different area, like psychology or training. But we needed those people, but it's very difficult to do in Japan. And the teaching system in Japan is. So I mean, the first, go back to the tennis university, those people who came from the Japan Professional Tennis Association, so-called, and the members from those association are ex-Davis Cup players or WTA players. So they have good partnership. They have good partnership. But Dennis came and he started introducing the new system. The training system, very simple, but very useful. The federation's training system was not so good at that time. So they kind of dislike us, yeah. And the Professional Tennis Association is, some of the directors came to take the tennis university in the first few years, and after that, they kind of modified the book, and then they made a book like, this is our new teaching system, which the federation didn't like originally, but because of relationship the two organization, so they took hands in hands, and those training system, so in that way, so the standard method was kind of spread around Japan, in a sense, which when Dennis first knew about that, so he was kind of shocked, and I tried to sue. Yeah, he said, so I think I'm going to sue them. But since living in the States and Japan, it takes a lot of time and energy. So the next time he came to Japan, okay, I'm not going to sue them. They wanted to copy them, that they think the system is so good. Yeah. So the turning negative into positive is, yeah, that's how I learned about the attitude toward many things. Yeah, so I also have likes and dislikes about people, but I try to find something good in everybody, so that we can make a good relationship. So without the good relationship between each other, nothing will develop. So that's my first continuity and communication. Yeah, better communication, connect people with people.
So you know about copy, you know. Okay, Dennis was really like this, you know, because we were, you know, sometime I saw in Italy or somewhere somebody who was bringing something that was Dennis did before, you know, and so on. And Dennis really say, don't worry, if they copy, it's mean that it's a good stuff, you know. And okay, but at the end, you know, you see that also Dennis was saying, you know, you give something, be open, because they will maybe use this, but develop this, and then you get the next result to you, and you go away. So if you look, you told me, in the construction, you know, the architects and the engineers, no one is inventing something, you know. It's always a copy, and then from them you have your experience, and you keep growing. And that's how things develop, also the research and everything. So to be too, you know, anxious to protect your property, yes or not, okay. But I see one thing that has been copied lately. Have you seen the $1 million one-shot tournament Dennis was doing here? Remember, Eddie? the two, one point, you know, and you choose serve or receiving, you know, and then at the end remain one. So then that was Dennis. I mean, I don't know if they copy this, but still, you know, that's as an example how things develop.
Thank you both so much for sharing with much depth, and I love this common thread of the everything to positive and just such these core values that really exploring, you know, the past couple of days that are very powerful and profound, and you know, in each of us and in different cultures they get adapted, but there's still that. Believe it or not, we are actually at we have one more minute. So if anyone has a super quick question.
Anyone have a question? What did you say earlier? That means it's good. He said it, so I'm just going with what he said. What was the young man's name that you coach? Rashawn. He said it. That was good, so we'll take it. Well, we'd like to thank Professore Sensei, just you, and all of you for staying with us. And if we have no other questions, thank you. We'll move forward. If you can give him a round of applause, please.